Man, it's been a while since I've done one of these. Hi, I'm also I used to make cool anime videos, but now as of late, I've just been reviewing what I've been watching from the cinema, but specifically anime related. Today I watched a film called Virgin Punk, made by the director for Kite, the OVA from the 1990s. Virgin Punk has been an anime that I've been looking forward to all year. I have been following the production since its initial announcement, at least teaser trailer, from a couple years ago. And I've been following up on as many articles as comes through my feed, anime feed that I have, uh, just sucking up all the information and just getting all excited for this film. But say the least, it didn't meet necessarily my initial expectations. To put it shortly, Virgin Punk is, in essence, uh, what if we did Kite in today's day, although in a European centric cyberpunk near future world. All to say that Kite specifically focuses on a young girl in her relationship with her, so to speak, guardian, to say it lightly, as she goes out of her way to kill a bunch of different um, filthy men with bounties on their heads, with a bunch of blood, guts, and incredible action in the first picture, and exploring topics of uh, sexual assault and uh, exploitation of young women and essentially disgusting men. Virgin Punk follows in the same line of ideas. One thing to keep note about the showing is that the runtime for this film is 35 minutes long. I initially did not know this coming into the picture, but as based on the information that when I bought the ticket, it was literally an hour and 30 minutes. But what filled the rest of the showing was essentially a lot of production details about the film. To say the least, I started dozing off to sleep by the end of the picture. But one key note that was a repeated idea throughout the documentary uh, of the production is that this is essentially the creator going back to his roots of kite and mezzo forte and exploring essentially a young me- uh, a young female no a young girl protagonist as she looks cool with a gun blasting men that are larger than her size in cool, incredible, and stellar action sequences and animation with a quite distinct art style. Essentially, the plot of this picture boils down to Ube is a young, bright, talented young girl who lives in an orphanage of uh, very privileged and also very smart and gifted children. But the director of this foster house essentially gets murdered in front of her eyes as he is enhanced through cybernetics that are banned from general civilians' use of it, while also having a bounty on his head because of his former uh, relationships in essentially the science world and developing this sort of technology, a controversial technology, as this guy called Mr. Elegance has a runs essentially a agency for essentially collecting these bounties on these controversial people. His current agent, that is seen early in the film, murdering this guy, her name is Maggie, and when her design directly like stood out to me because it reminded me of sort of to say the least very eccentric e-girl, terminally online characters that some women choose to appear as to appeal to particular groups of men on the internet. Uh, with her pink hair, very short, skimpy skirt, and essentially looking like the embodiment of anime cosplayer in real life. Not to disrespect my incredible cosplayers that I know in my life, just putting that out there. Although this Mr. Elegance takes note to this Ube girl because of her young looks. His agent Maggie even makes a comment to her that he has a particular Lolita complex. If we were to go back and talk about Kite for a moment, this is sort of an idea that is explored in that film. Um, in Kite, the main girl, following this encounter, Ube, many years into the 10 years into the future, uh, she takes up arms as a bounty hunter, hunting down these bounties that Mr. Elegance chases after as her own independent agent, sort of in a vendetta against this man, and with her ultimate goal as to take him out because she ruined her life in the past. Although on the other side, Mr. Elegance had taken a liking from Mr. Elegance had taken a liking to Ube from her very young age, um, even as Ube refuses his advances to join his agency in becoming one of his agents for these bounties. As a direct result, um, in following the death of Mr. Elegance's agent, Maggie, who is completely cyberized, adding to that'll be explored later in the film why she sort of looked that way earlier in the movie. As Mr. Elegance intrudes in Ube's home and then point blank murders her, essentially robbing her of her independence as he wants Ube to be his doll, like Maggie was to him. Um, as a result, following Ube being knocked out for a whole year and waking up in a hospital gown, and as she looks in the reflection of her glass room, that um, her glass hospital room, is that she has reverted to her 14-year-old self, that when she initially had like all this trauma, her world completely shattered and changed for her, as essentially Mr. Elegance has transferred the mind of Ube into a cyberized body of his idealized um, idea of her being his doll, as essentially her Ube's autonomy is completely robbed from her by Mr. Elegance, and as she's forced to become one of his agents. And in the film, to put it shortly, as Ube attempts to sort of fight against, she eventually has to follow in line as to find her own way of survival, with her ultimate goal to take out Mr. Elegance. Um, from that introductory first half of the film, the latter half focuses as Ube becomes acclimated to this new world of hers under the control of Mr. Elegance. Um, as she discovers sort of as she loses memory here and there, as he uh, essentially puts her to sleep and changes her clothes and what she's wearing or whatever, as she peeps in certain different moments when she's most vulnerable, and eventually giving her the specific wardrobe that he would like to see her wear. But Ube completely rejects all of that projection of his and playing into his complex over her, as she can have this life, but at the end of the day, she is a hunter, and she eventually takes up arms as to take out uh, this one bounty, in which, at the end of the film, focuses on an incredible sequence between Ube and another bounty hunter that works under Mr. Elegance, as they fight this cyberized, this enhanced cyberized individual, um, with Ube eventually taking him out and taking the bounty money for herself, with eventually sort of her sort of taking up, back a bit of her identity and control back, and the choice of her clothes and reverting to the clothes that she would traditionally wear versus the type that Mr. Elegance gifted her. And with that money that she gets from the bounty that she takes out, she buys her equipment back to. With the money from the bounty, she takes the money and goes out of her way to purchase new equipment to take out Mr. Elegance one day, even though even though she's life has completely gone upside down as a result of him. And that's sort of Virgin Punk in a nutshell. The art and animation is super stellar and incredible, and I love it. It's sort of what I came there for. It's also a production with Studio Shaft, which, they've slowed sort of the shows that they've been pumping out sort of since the late 2010s and especially in the 2020s. Um, their production output is not the same as it was back in the 2010s. So it's very nice to see a new work by them and as an anime original. Although, in my opinion, it's really an anime original with an asterisk. In the same way that Lazarus by Shinichiro Watanabe is an original work, but really it follows off of the coattails of the famous works by these particular directors as essentially pseudo sequel continuations of the same idea, the same content, because there's no such thing as original works in today's day. And especially as these individuals want to create new and independent works, they're sort of pigeonholed if they want to get funding and they want to create new shows or content to be essentially retreading the past because they know because that's what production companies understand will make them money. The work is coming out initially. The sort of the feeling here, as I've heard, in the past, uh, like why was there a presentation like this for this sort of picture? You know, the likely answer was that that's a particular amount of time that you need for a showing like this, and or if you're gonna have a this sort of particular runtime, why not have it so there is more showings for this movie for these limited showings, especially in the states, because there's only a 2 day showing here in the states currently. Why not give more show times and allow this picture to be at least shown multiple times for people who want to go out and see this experience? At least be honest about the runtime. Besides all that, the general content itself, 8 out of 10. It's great, but uh, part of the experience is sort of, you know, uh, taken aback because of sort of the presentation, how it was brought forward as a showing, but as a original work and as something new and exciting. I hope that they soon enough announce a series following this, and or they follow up with more original movies that follow in line with this sort of series. I don't know. I want to see more of this. I'm very disappointed that it ended on the note that it did because I was really hoping that it would be, a single work in that our main character Ube would essentially blast the head of Mr. Elegance. But hopefully we see that in the sequel, sort of following in line with Kite, which was a 2 episode OVA. Um, these are all my thoughts on Virgin Punk. This has been also Weeb. Uh, keep reading, keep studying, keep watching anime. Also Weeb signing out.